This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
In Jimmy Johnson's very first year as what I've termed the co-architect of the Dallas Cowboys and their Super Bowl era, get it? Co-architect? Look how fair that is. He was, in so many ways, as fully involved in jocks and socks as was owner Jerry Jones. I'm Mike Fisher, your trusty and trusted reporter. This is the Fishbowl. That's the Star. Cowboys are coming home pretty soon. By the way, they will have training camp at the Star. Workouts, we'll get that information for you. You can get in there. And then, if you want to go hang out with me, we'll really hang out then. So stay tuned for those times and dates. Jimmy was right there, deeply involved. At the same level Jerry was, obviously except for the financial investment. That partnership, which didn't last as long as we all kind of wish it would have. That partnership even extended into Jimmy sitting in on contract negotiations. Now, I stop here to remind you, Cowboys have themselves, and Jimmy used the word, Jerry's in a bind. That's my Port Arthur accent with all the syrup poured on it. Jerry's in a bind. And we got the C.D. Lamb situation where he thinks he's the evil Spider-Man. And we have Dak Prescott. I don't know. I guess we would have to mix the Marvel and the DC. He thinks he's Superman. And we've got Micah Parsons, and he thinks he's Batman. And then, yes, I know. You think Jerry and Steven are the Joker and the Riddler. Believe me, I was there. I got there way before you did. I get it. We're mixing the universes. Tony Fisher, where are you to help me understand the universes? If what I'm about to tell you here in the next few minutes is we do Fish at 6, as we do every weeknight. By the way, thanks to BetUS for being a part of what we do. And thanks to, we're closing in on 72,000 fish heads in Cowboy Nation. So thank you for that too. If at the end of this presentation you go, you know what, old man, old Uncle Fish, I think you got something here. If that's the way you react, would you please subscribe? If at the end of this show you go, you crusty old bastard, that what you also should subscribe. That seems fair. So the Jimmy Jerry partnership that I'm telling you, it had to be there because based on the, about 1995 on, if you're not of a certain vintage, you're like going, oh no, they hated each other. Not exactly. Side by side, arm in arm, really. So much so that Jimmy sat in on contract talks. Something that he learned pretty quickly was an ill-fitting role for him. As he later told me, I think it was the next year he told me. Here's the quote, as best I can remember it, from Jimmy from the time. In the morning, I'm in a meeting room at Valley Ranch, and I've got to tell a player he's not good enough for more money. This is Jimmy talking. Then in the afternoon, I'm out on the practice field at Valley Ranch, and I got to tell that same player he's great enough to win the Super Bowl? Jimmy goes, no thanks. He figured it out. It wasn't for him. It was ill-fitting in a lot of ways. Not that he couldn't have done it. I say this truly. Had Jerry Jones decided at age 21, you know what I want to be? I want to be a football coach. Of course he could have been. Had Jimmy Johnson decided at the age of 21, you know what I think I want to be? I think I want to just scoreboard money. I don't want to scoreboard touchdowns. I want to be a businessman. I want to scoreboard money. Bet you Jimmy could have done that too. But no thanks to Jimmy being involved in contract negotiations. Now we fast forward the 35 years. Now Jimmy's in the catbird seat. Super Bowl winning Hall of Fame coach, not rooting against Jerry here, but speaking his truth. Not rooting against Jerry the owner, not rooting against the Cowboys in the front office, trying to figure out the juggling act. The juggling act that Jimmy wanted no part of by 1990. And Jimmy serving up a critique of the setup. Get in, get on, be good, by the way. Bring something of intellect to the table. Only 3 slappies allowed per show. I will read every comment and review them. And if you're nice to me, No, you do whatever you want. You can be just as mean as you want. We do have a few rules here. Please don't be redundant. No hate speech. And do not compare me to you-know-who. Thou who shalt not be named. Cowboys have themselves a, I think, star-studded roster. I think you think it too. They got an MVP candidate in Dak Prescott. They got an All-Pro in CeeDee Lamb. They got All-World in Micah Parsons. And on and on and on and on. Maybe top-heavy, but a lot of talent here. Those three guys are all in position to make the argument, I should be highest paid ever. You know what? You know what? I think they're all three going to be. We're this far away from CeeDee Lamb getting inched up now from just under 33 to 35. I mean, we're this far away. Dak Prescott, it's not a stretch that the Cowboys would pay him 56 million APY. That would make him the highest paid player in NFL history. Forget 60 and 70, 56 would do that. And then Micah Parsons speaks very openly about the day when he makes $40 million a year. So they're all arguing their way up, and Jerry and Steven trying to argue them down. That's the jobs of all the people involved. Jimmy's evaluation, he was on Colin Cowherd. Jerry's in a bind with these contracts. He's got three players who want to be the highest paid player at their position. So far, so good. And it is a bind. It's not impossible. It's not inescapable.
Michael Vick here at BetUS.com. Get it all. Huge bonuses, great odds, a race book, live in-game betting, and a casino. BetUS, my online sports book and casino.
Jimmy, quote, Jerry made a mistake by not re-signing them earlier for less than what he's doing right now. He made a mistake by not re-signing them earlier. Let's tap the brakes here a little bit. It would have been incredibly helpful for the Cowboys to have been preemptive on all these things, on all three of these. I forget, not on Micah. Well, maybe, but they couldn't do Micah individually right now. And they couldn't have done Micah before this time. He wasn't eligible. They could have gone to Dak earlier. They could have gone to CeeDee Lamb earlier. There's no guarantee they say yes. It worked out great on Trayvon Diggs. He didn't get top of market. He got right up there, and they were preemptive there. That proves they understand the concept, but it also, and Jimmy knows this because he sat in those meetings, the other guy's got to say yes. I don't know what Dak Prescott would have said a year from now when he was making 40 and a couple other guys were making 43. Had they gone to Dak then and say, we'll give you 45, would he have said yes? Would it have taken 50? I don't know. And neither is Jimmy. So it's too bad that the Cowboys and these guys couldn't get together earlier. But I'm not sure whose mistake it is. Or if there isn't plenty of blame to go around. In fairness, the Cowboys have made efforts to sign Dak. They have made efforts to sign Lamb. We don't know yet the details of offers they've made to Dak Prescott. So let's just assume that they're similar to what they've made to Lamb. That is to say, in CeeDee Lamb's case, they've offered him a deal that is the second highest. If it's 33, that makes him the second highest paid non-quarterback of all time. That's not unfair. That puts him behind Justin. It would make him and Justin Jefferson all by themselves. Quarterbacks up here, those two guys all by themselves, and everybody else down here. That's not unfair. I wonder if they haven't done something similar with Dak. And if so, it's not unfair. They're not lowballing him. They're not screwing him. But whatever they're doing, the other sides have yet to tango. So while there's little argument that the Joneses could have been more proactive and more aggressive, that's for sure. They could have been more proactive and aggressive. The other side might have still said no. But there's been a time there where the Cowboys didn't even make a phone call. And we know that, and we know why, because you've heard my Bob Ackles, Stephen Jones story. Bob Ackles, former Tech Schramm right-hand man, who taught Stephen the first guy who makes the phone call in negotiations loses. It's as simple as going and buying a used car, right? You make him give up the first number, not you. You give out the first number and you lose. It's a strategy, but it has caused the Cowboys to be foot draggers. Can Dallas do Dak and Lamb now and do Micah later? Mathematically and cap-wise, the answer is yes, yes, yes. And don't let anybody, including the Cowboys themselves, tell you otherwise. A bind does not mean it's impossible. A bind does not mean it's undoable. It is quite doable, and it is 100% possible. I continue to argue it might even be probable. And by the way, even after they sign all three, assuming they do, could they be in a bind again? See, signing them, hey, Dak, here's 60. Hey, here's CeeDee Lamb. Here's 35. Micah, here's 40. Yay! Now you got another bind. Because now you've committed a great deal of money to three guys, and you're going to have three more say, okay, here's going to come Tyler Smith saying, I'm ready. Here's going to come Deron Bland saying, I'm ready. Jake Ferguson, Osa, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. The cap percentage assigned to these guys will be another bind. So are they presently in a bind? Is Jimmy right? Yes. If they sign him, will they be in a bind? Yes. If they don't sign him, will they be in a bind? Yes. So Jimmy Johnson, and I'm giving him credit here, not discredit. Jimmy Johnson knows absolutely how difficult and challenging all this is, which is one of the reasons when he sat in that room in 1989 and then told me a year later why I wasn't in that negotiating room again anymore. No thanks. The whole thing about being in that room is a bind. That's what Jimmy Johnson knows. Fish out.
This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.